Fellas, what was the biggest takeaway from LSU?
We didn't really execute from the beginning of the game, and that just led on during the game, and we just couldn't execute properly offensively and defensively.
Yeah, same thing. Like he said, we just couldn't execute. Our defense wasn't there. That I think just the biggest part was just executing.
Was that more what they did or what more you guys didn't do?
Probably more what we didn't do.
You mentioned not playing defense to your standard. What was last week like taking on, Saban Lee and then having to deal with Tremont Waters, and now you got, Brown and Auburn's backcourt. Can't think of who's my other guy. Jared Harper, not Heron. Did that prep you for this week? And what's it, AJ? Your first time going through it. Your first time going through the SEC. What's it like, kind of guarding some of these ball handlers in this league, and how much of a challenge will tomorrow be?
It's definitely going to be a challenge. It's different, different coming from the Big East. But yeah, I mean, every game is a challenge because everybody in this league has a good point guard and good two guards. So I feel like it's a challenge for us every night.
Yeah, definitely is a challenge. Every game we have to be prepared to stop defensively every possession and not take any plays off.
This is for both of you. How much really was fatigue a factor on Saturday? 3 games in 6 days has got to be pretty tough, especially going maybe back-to-back on the road too.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, but I mean we can't make that as an excuse. Fatigue as an excuse. We just gotta keep playing hard, keep practicing hard. Everything will be fine.
Trey, Frank's talked a little bit about the pressure you kind of put on yourself to knowing that this is your last go-around. Do you feel that at all? And now in SEC play, I guess, what are your impressions of the physicality that you have to play with, I guess, every night to win?
No, I really want to say I put pressure on myself. I just try to go out there and play as hard as I can every night, give it all every night. I know this is my last go-around. We got like 14 more games left in the regular season. It's something I think about, but at the same time, I try not to think about. But I just got to keep playing every game, I guess.
Given the schedule of last week and the fatigue, was practice any different for y'all the last couple of days? Back off a little bit, anything like that?
Nah, we still practice really hard and try to take each game seriously. And just try to balance ourselves and just stay focused and try to prepare ourselves mentally every game.
As you guys now go through it for the first time, how much of an impact do you feel when Chris is on the floor for an expanded amount of time, and the value he brings, and then when he gets in foul trouble, what difference does that make in the team and not having him out there to run stuff through him?
I feel like it's more on the defense end, just knowing you got somebody back there, if you get beat off the dribble, they can help you out at the rim. It's definitely a big factor. Then on the offense end, somebody that we could throw the ball into, get the pressure off us, and then if he's not open, he could kick it back out to us.
AJ, how much of a learning curve was it for you to kind of learn how to play with Chris offensively? It seems like you like to drive the ball, obviously, and Chris seems like he likes to get inside and post up. Was there a learning curve, and how long did it take you guys to kind of figure out a good balance of how to play together?
It didn't take us long. I know that he likes to get the ball in a certain area, likes to catch certain passes, and we just had to learn off each other at the beginning of the year, and I feel like we built good chemistry now, and I know when to give him the ball, how he likes to catch it, and what areas he can score on during the plays.
Anything else for these guys? Andrew?
AJ, earlier in the season, I think it was maybe the Norfolk State game, Frank made reference to at halftime, he made an adjustment with your jump shot that you felt like the elbow was a little too out, and you kind of brought it back in, had a better second half. Have you made any adjustments with your free throw shooting? Emily had a note about your first X amount of games was not the best percentage, but you've really turned it on 80% free throw shooter the last 10 or so. Have you made an adjustment there, physically, or is it just kind of a mental thing and get more reps?
It's just a mental thing. I had to get more reps up and just focus in. Before, I think I was getting distracted. Wasn't used to the crowd screaming and just adjusting to just making free throws in the big stage.
for either of you guys. I know after the game, and I'm sure Coach brought it up to you guys about the rebounding in particular, and what you guys did in the glass compared to them. When there's things like that, things that you guys can't control, what's the mentality going into the next game? Because it seems like that's something that you guys can correct.
I mean, that is something, like rebounding is something that we work on every practice. We usually do it with 4 guys on defense and 5 on offense, so everybody has to rotate around and find a body and box out. So that's something that we got to do in the game. We just didn't execute in the LSU game.